Hi everyone. If you can hear me, just say hi. Hi. Oh, perfect. Okay. This meeting is going to be very straightforward and short. It's just an explanation of what the um it's not yet. It's not yet. I'll just wait. Yeah. So let's go. It's time already. I'll just simply share my screen. So this is simply to explain what we expect of the communications team. Okay. First of all, I would like to remind everyone that the instructions for submission are here. They are here on the stage 3 document. And anytime you forget anything, please check here first before you ask. It helps everybody to be on track and we don't have to keep repeating the same thing we have communicated earlier. So, like we mentioned, it's a single team work. It's a team output. So we expect everything that you will generate, we expect a single submission, right? We expect a single link for submission. But then in total, everything you will generate is going to be a contribution by the entire team. It's going to be contributed by the entire team. So first of all, you have done the first part. That's a one-slide presentation file uh, containing a flow chart of the pipeline, which we've done on Wednesday, or was it? Or on Friday, yeah. We did that together. The second part is a one-page scientific brief. Um, so the scientific brief is actually a summary or a very short paper, very, very, very short paper, one-page paper, describing what the technical team did. Okay. So you are describing exactly what the technical team did. You are not to summarize the paper. You are not to explain the paper. You are not to shed more light on the paper or whatever big English you want to use. But the most important thing is that you are actually reporting what your technical team did. If we need another explanation of the paper, we'll copy the paper and put it on ChatGPT. Okay. So we need your own input. That is what your team did. It should be reported. If you do science, you should report it. So what your team did, you are reporting exactly what your team did and sharing with us. Okay. So because we don't want you to waste so much time on it, that's why we want you to make it in a one-page scientific brief that you can put under the following heading, under one or more of the following heading: background, introduction, significance, aims, pipelines, results in brief, discussion. It's not compulsory to follow everything. I mean, if you already have background or introduction, you might as well cover significance and aims within it. If you're talking about the method, which is the pipeline, you can also merge it with the results, and then discussion can also come along, So try to be flexible with these headings. It just has to be one page. But overall, we want to have an introduction, we want to have an explanation of the method, I want to have the final results. Hopefully that's explanatory enough. Then I got another very funny question or interesting question. It says, uh, is the video to be submitted this week? Yes. So this is part of the work for the communications team. You are expected, or we are expecting a final presentation, a final video presentation. Either it's you, either it's voiceover, either it's animation. We just want something which is a video presentation of the paper that he just wrote. But this presentation is going to be for someone who is non-technical, someone who does not have an understanding of the intricacies of this paper, of the scientific jargons that he wrote in the scientific brief. So so basically you have two audience. For the first one, we are talking to fellow scientists like you, people who are in the field, your colleagues in class. But for the second one, which is the video, you're talking to your grandma, you're talking to your dad, especially if your dad is not a scientist, you're talking to your bartender friend, you're talking to your, your butcher in the farm, right? So these are completely two different audiences. We expect you to write about them and make a video about them. And finally, all the codes that were used, the data sets, and to generate the figures. This is something from the hold on, sorry. Yeah, this is something from the for the technical team. This is basically the submission for the technical team, and of course, they have to generate they have to submit the figures as well, because it doesn't make sense. The figures have to be included as part of the GitHub link we are submitting. So, but this is for the technical team, and I think they know. So we're expecting we're expecting a GitHub link that contains a slide presentation, all the figures that were generated, one-page scientific brief, 1 to 2 minutes video presentation, and all the codes that were used to generate, either in Bash, either in Python, either in R, either in whatever you used. We're expecting all the codes. I think that is all. Do you have any questions?
Hi. Well,
Hi.
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Sorry for clarification. The figure that is it the figure that is in the paper or what? The figure that we get, that's what we're including in the paper.
Yes, anything you are reporting, right, is what
Yeah.
you don't report what's in the paper. Don't copy
Okay.
and paste the images from the paper. Maybe I should write it here. How do I put it? PS. Please report only the things you see, because your name will be on this document, and you don't know where this document will be published in the future. You don't know who will see it in the future, and they would ask you. They might term it as plagiarism, okay? So we don't want anybody to be in trouble for plagiarism. So please report only the things you see slash get from your own trial of, from your own analysis of the data set. Of course, you are going to cite the source of the data. You are going to mention that, okay, this is the provider of the data, but don't copy their images, don't copy and paste their figures. If you are using 50 samples, we don't expect to see 127 samples on your figures. Okay, we're expecting to see just 50 samples represented there. Okay, did I answer your question? Well,
Yes, thank
okay.
you.
Ezra, go ahead.
Regarding the pipeline flowchart, shall we be submitting the same that we presented, or after working we get more clear on the modification to the chart? Can we modify it and this is the final submission?
Okay, you mean number one?
Yes.
Yeah, so of course, if you think you can fine tune after maybe going through more of the paper, definitely fine tune it. It makes it better for everybody. But already what you guys presented from last week, I think it's most likely enough for everybody. I think it's more than enough for most people. I think finance.
The thing for this part is already done. We don't need to
Yeah.
spend
It's
much.
already done.
Okay.
Don't spend any more time here. Yeah. You don't need to spend any
Okay. Thank you.
Hi again.
more. Right?
Um, on the GitHub link, is it possible for us to add the slides and all that? I thought it was only codes that we
No,
can.
you can add anything. You can add anything. Yeah. Zainab, finance, I think you are about to talk as well, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
my question.
I have.
Okay, let's do it this way. Let's go finance first, then we'll go for Zainab. Does it
Okay,
work?
my question is on the figures that we're going to generate.
Mhm.
Are we going to include the figure in the one page that we're supposed to be doing?
No,
Or,
no, no. Let me put it as another mention because so it's not part of the one page sentence
the one
because
page? Oh,
if you put a figure there, everything becomes more than one page, right?
okay. And then another one, all this work, are we submitting it on this week?
By inshallah.
Sorry?
Inshallah. By the special grace of God, what other language can I use?
Okay.
What about in the video? Will the figures be there?
The video?
Hmm.
So the video is for a non-technical audience. Think about it. Would your grandmother understand the figure? Just think
Okay.
about it. If they would understand, put it there. If they don't, then kick it out. For me, I
Okay.
don't think my grandmother would understand any of this shit you are doing. So, yeah, I'll most likely not.
Sorry. Okay, regarding the video, still, one of the things in it is the analysis,
The analysis.
describing the importance of the baby. This can be simplified, the analysis,
Yeah, you
the
can.
results.
Yeah, you can simplify for sure. There's nothing you cannot simplify. I think that's the hardest part, simplifying the analysis and explaining it in a way. Yeah, explaining it in a way someone who is not in science can understand. It's going to be very hard, but try to explain it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go into all the details. Just be very, very superficial, but let it be understood.
Okay.
Ezra, you have a question before I go to the chats? I see some messages in the chats. Okay, no question.
I'm just making sure one more time.
What?
Okay. Regarding the video. Regarding the video about the paper, the analysis, the results, we will not include the final figures, but a more simplified way to describe them.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said the communications team is even much more difficult than the technical team. Because it's easy to do anything. To explain what you did, yeah, it's more work.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, let me start with the messages on the chat. So first, Zainab, did you ask a question? Sorry. I think I forgot to call you. Is she there? Okay, she got disconnected. Okay. Zainab, if you're able to, okay, she's a device. Okay, Zainab, if you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay. So I will answer some of the questions in the chat. Hello, everyone. I joined a little late and I am confused on point 2. The one-page brief.
Yes. Sorry, please. My network wasn't stable. Can you hear me?
Okay, then I can hear you now. But she just heard me.
Sorry, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
My network is
Okay, just go ahead.
my
If you,
network isn't stable.
if you can
So
hear
ask in the
me,
chat.
just talk. Okay.
Okay, do we need to reference the source of the data
For
in
sure.
the one-page
You have to-
document?
You have to include references, please.
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Do we need to reference the source of the data in the one-page article, one-page brief?
Yeah, you have to include it.
I said, do we need to reference the source of the data that we're using?
Yes, you have to include it. You'll probably hear all of this later on. Just accept it that yes, you have to include the references. Okay, before I come back to you, Simeon, I'll just quickly answer the questions in the chat. So for point 2, yes, it has been addressed. I said one-page scientific brief. I said I don't know your question exactly, but the one-page scientific brief is technical. The audience, let me put it here. The audience should be targeted towards a scientific audience. And the 1 to 2 minutes video is simply targeted towards a non-scientific audience. Okay? So that's basically the summary of everything. And it should just be one page. We don't want you to rewrite what was written in the paper, but much more importantly, we want you to report what you did. Okay? What you did, not, you don't need to copy and paste the paper again for us. We can already read it, right? Everybody here can read. Ruth said, can we use pidgin? I don't think so. It's not allowed. That means that we have to wait for technical work to be complete. In a way, yes. In some other ways, no, because you already understand what they want to do. You are not really using for the main thing, yes. For example, explaining the results, and in some cases, I think you even have to have them on board. They have to read the document so that they understand it. Yeah. So in some ways, for example, to write the introduction, I don't think you need them. To write the methods, you don't need them because you also know it. You are both working on it together. But when you get to the results, of course, you need to wait for their results. When you get to the discussion, I think this is more, you have to also discuss the results you see. So at the beginning, you don't need them, but towards the end, I think you need them. My networking is stable. Okay. Yeah. So does that mean we are presenting the work as ours? Interesting. You are presenting the work as yours, but the data is not yours. Let me just be clear that way. The data is not yours. You cite the data. If you are citing anybody, please cite them correctly. Of course, you are presenting you did the job, you did the analysis, but the data, the idea, how do I put it? Yeah, the data is not yours. The original research is not an original research in a way. It's just a repetition of what someone has done. So in this case, the work you are doing, you are presenting it as yours, but you are not presenting the data set. You are letting us know that the data is not yours, and you are just using previously published data sets. Okay. I wanted to ask you, yeah, you need to reference, the data in the scientific brief. Yeah. Is the third point supposed to be submitted separately? Yes, as part of your GitHub thingy. The things you submit on GitHub, all the pictures you generate, whether you assemble it together or you have it separately, push it to GitHub. Push everything to GitHub. Simeon, let's go.
Yeah, so my little understanding of scientific writing, especially when you have a separate section for results and another section for discussion. Normally, people recommend that maybe at the result side, you just show data or maybe figures and tables. So in our case where we also be generating figures and tables, I just wanted to confirm if it's okay in a brief to just put the figures we generate or the tables or whatever we get at the end of running our code at the result section, or you would still expect us to do some writings in
Yeah,
addition
I
to
think
also writing
some writing should be there.
discussion.
Some writing should be there. I think if you look at all the papers, sorry, that was a mistake. If you look at all the papers we mentioned, for example, let's say this. I don't know which paper is this, by the way. Then it is okay. I'm looking for the results section. So this is the discussion. This is the results section, I believe. Yeah, this is the results. It's more text than figures. So figures alone is not enough for you. You should be able to comment. I don't need to just look at your figures, the pictures. You'll be able to make some comments, you know, on your figures. I don't think it's enough to just, yeah. Okay. I mean, we want you to be very brief. Everything should be one page. Don't overstress it. Okay. Any other question? Okay, then, if there's no other question, I'll leave it to it. If you still get confused again, please let me know. But for now, I think everybody should be clear about the submission. There might be extension in the date for final submission, but rest assured that we understand that you are taking more time, okay? So don't put yourself under pressure. Try to do everything, be responsible, because here's the thing, once you push it out, people will read. You'll be surprised, people will read. Many people have come back to me that they need to pull down their document and rewrite it and make some corrections, you know. You need to read. We'll try to read from here, but you know, we are not robots. We'll try to read and see if you can help to improve some of the writing, but if not, please make sure you do everything you are meticulous, as meticulous as possible, so that you don't have any errors, and yeah, everything looks good. Published by yes, on our blog, they will be published on our blog. It will publish on our blogs. We suspended our blogs for now because we are migrating into a bigger server. Looks like we need a lot, and actually people actually reference it. I've seen a lot of people use our blog and included it in their CV, and it was really helpful for a lot of people. So yeah, we'll be looking forward. Come on, use anything you want. I'm not a freak about fonts. We are generally not freaks. Use default fonts and font sizes. It's up to you. Don't be, yeah, feel free to use anything that works for your team, as long as you guys agree. Of course, your name and your team name both should be there. Your names and your team names. Nobody is going to, in the future, nobody knows what team Darwin means or team Gregor Mendel means. What they will be able to trace is you. And in fact, we'll probably collect your LinkedIn profile so they can also trace it back to you if need be. Okay. So just know it's something that might stick to you for life if you do it well. If you also do it bad, it might stick to you for life. So yeah, please do it well. It's better to do it well and not do, yeah. Okay, then I'll stop sharing.